I just want to show you really quickly how I sell wall art from the road. I just want to show you really fast how to do a really cool collection of wall art mock-up for your client. So I have a lot of clients that don't live where I live, and I do a lot of my in-person sales. I do them remotely via Skype or FaceTime or email. I find emails just as easy once you get the basics down. So for example, what I have going on today is one of my clients wanted to do a collage wall on this like empty wall in their house. We've also done another project together over their fireplace, and I did that project while I was in Scotland on vacation with my parents. So you can actually, like, once you've done one or two wall art sales with one of your clients in person, it gets so much easier to translate that to doing them online or doing them remotely. So I just do some like rough and dirty Photoshop to show them what it's going to look like. Like, most people are, you know, not very visual, or like they can't like understand your idea without you really like showing them. So like this client has a hard time visualizing what I'm talking about, so I needed to do a little mock-up for her. And that's fine. I don't mind. I mean, then I can really flesh out my idea even better anyway. So this project here started with the bride gave her dad and her mom these pictures for Mother's Day and Father's Day last year, or this year. And so they had these like 8x10 metal prints, and then the mom didn't know really what to do with them. She did know she wanted to do some sort of like a family wall in the house to get started with, you know, her first child's wedding. So I just came up with like this idea of doing a collage, and I, you know, reminded her that she needed a picture of the bride and groom in there. Sometimes they forget and they just put like their own siblings and, you know, formals from the wedding. So we just really kind of incorporated these two wedding photos that they already have an 8x10 of, and now I'm just building this wall. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. It's pretty easy. So this is the exact mock-up I emailed her. I write out, you know, what sizes they are so they can like cut out cardboard and put it on their wall and tape it up, or a piece of craft paper. They can tape it on the wall to see if I've got the sizes correct. And actually, you know what? Let me show you a photo of that real quick, because it's actually kind of fun when they do it. So I love doing these projects. It's so much fun. So here's an example of this photo that I did before. So they had sent me a picture of their living room, and they decided to remodel this fireplace area. As you can see, it's being painted. So she sent me the before photo and was like, hey, I want to do one of the wedding photos above the fireplace, and that was literally why they wanted to remodel the room, which is pretty cool. So I just had her text me like a really crappy photo of their fireplace before, and then I had her measure up here to this corner and then across, so that I had kind of a rough guideline of what the size I'm dealing with is. And then once I flushed out my ideas and we went through a couple photo choices and I showed her kind of how those would look, then once we like kind of locked in the size of the piece, I had, you know, the dad here, the husband, he cut out a piece of cardboard of that exact dimension so that they could really see if I was correct. So this way I don't need to be there. I've made it easy for them to figure it out. And I love that she sent me this picture, because yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And that piece came out really, really cool. Anyway, here we are. I'm just going to show you how to rough and dirty do a mock-up in Photoshop. There is some software out there where you can do this in person. And if you have a better way of doing this in Photoshop that's faster, by all means, let me know. But like I said, this is really working for me even when I travel. So right here I have their wall. I've sort of got myself a guide of, you know, the left corner of the wall, because this is a facing wall. And then you wouldn't come all the way to the window anyway. So I just kind of gave myself a rough guide. I kind of figured out the middle point. And they haven't given me the exact dimensions, but I believe it's like 4.5 feet or 5 feet. So I think that's plenty to work with. We're not going to go edge to edge, so I'm not too worried there. Okay, so the first step is to crop this photo to an 8x10. So I'm just going to hit the C button for crop. I've got my size 8 by 10 by 72 DPI. I don't need print quality here because this is literally just to do a mock-up so that my client can see what I want to sell her. So I'm just going to crop this photo to an 8 by 10 because they already have this image. Hit enter there, it saves it. Okay, now I'm going to go back to V for moving, and I'm just going to drag that layer onto my background here. So this is their wall. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to be to scale. I will have my client double check before I actually sell it to them. Okay, so the next image we're going to do is the other 8 by 10 that they have. And I've already cropped this one to an 8 by 10 for you. So we can just drag it onto this other layer over here. So I know that these ceremony photos I'm going to kind of put here. Why is that not cropped? That's lame. All right, let me check this. Let me check this one out. Go back to that. I cropped it. What the hell? I'll flatten it and see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was weird. Okay, so anywho, now we've got dad. I'm just going to name the layer dad. And I'll leave the other one mom and bro. So once you get all these layers going, you know what you're dealing with. Okay. So the next one I want to do is the big anchor photo. So the real one that we really need is the bride and groom. Nope, that's not the bride and groom. That's not the bride and groom either. So we've got, there we go. That's the bride and groom. That's the photo we're going to use. So I'm estimating based on the wall size, the fact that we're doing other ones that are 8 by 10s, I'm thinking a 20 by 24 is probably the size we need for this, and we can always adjust that once they like do their cutouts and stuff. So let's say it's a 20-inch wide by 24-inch tall, and again I only need 72 DPI so that they're all the same. I'll crop that as sort of how I would crop it. Might get a little bit less of this garden in here because it's kind of bright. Use the rule of thirds there. Okay, so I'm just going to rough estimate again. When I print it, I will change that up to flatten image again because that's annoying. And then I can drag it over here, cropped. There we go. Well, so lame. Okay, so the nice thing about it is once you have, when you have Photoshop, it tells you like if I'm centered or not. Again, it can be rough and dirty. You don't need to center these things. You're just giving your client an idea of what it could look like. So now I'm going to move mom and dad and the bride over here because I want to show my client really what I want it to look like when they hang it up. And mom and bro, I'm going to move over here. I mean, again, I really don't need to be this picky with it. Okay, so next, let me just drag a couple more photos. And really, I can close that now because I don't need to save it. Again, it's 72 DPI, so I don't really want, it's not a print quality. And I'll crop it and retouch it and color correct it later. Okay, so here's the bride and her brother. So because I have those 8 by 10s, I'm going to do these 8 by 8 square. So I'm going to go back to my crop tool, and I'm going to do 8 by 8 square so that they're flush with the other photo. Okay, and I can just move it and center it. Make sure they look good. Probably don't need all that hand in there. Again, we'll change this once I actually bring all the images into print. And now I know I need to flatten that, which is annoying. And then I can go to my V tool to move and bring it back over and put it next to this one like that. Okay, and now we just go to the next photo. You do want to kind of have your crop sort of the way you'd want to do it because, again, people really need to visualize and, you know, they're going to sign off on this. So you don't want to change it too much. So you get the idea. We just repeat the process for all of these the supporting images, which makes it simple. To lay it out. And now I can see, now that I'm laying it out, now I know this 20 by 24 is not the right size. I'll actually make it bigger, like a 20 by 30 or something. So I will show you that in a second. So I still want to label these. And the nice thing about labeling these is that when you want to move them around, it's just faster for you. So give you some sort of shorthand of what the photos are. And that's bro and bride. Okay, cool. So next, close that, don't need it. That's a different thing that we're going to add in a second. Here we go. Not the world's greatest photo, and I really wish that we had them out with the other formals, but if you shoot weddings, you know how that goes sometimes. It's hard to find all the grandparents. They disappear on us, so at the dance floor, I had to like drag them over for a picture. This was like the best I could do at the time. And it's a cute photo. They all look good at least. Okay, so we're going to drag that over to our collage. So my point is the same, you know, you really just need to like rough and dirty, make a collage so you can see. And now I know that this main photo needs to be just a little bit taller so that we have enough space for all these. So this is the dad's parents. Perfect. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. I mean, look at how beautiful this looks on the wall. The sizes are pretty good aside from needing a couple more inches down here. And actually, if I really want to, I can bring that up. So let me just don't save that. I already have that one. I'm going to close that. I don't usually close them all because sometimes you need them again, or if something didn't crop. I usually don't close them until I'm finished, but it's all right. Okay, so let me open the formal picture of the bride and groom one more time. Let's see, which one is it? Hey, I guessed correctly. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So let me just recrop this. So I had it as a 20 by 24 before, so maybe I'll make it a 20 by, I think a 30. 20 by 30. Let's see how that looks. That'll be more full frame anyway, which will be nice. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Full frame. Love it. Okay, cool. So now let me flatten and drag over here. And actually, I'll get rid of the other one with the bride and groom. And now I can move this layer over. Okay, so that's a little bit taller than the other grid. There's a couple things you can do with that. One, you could just do like a 20 by 28 because now I know it's just a little taller. It doesn't need to be flush. The other thing is if it's not flush, it's actually easier for them to hang this. The other thing they could do is they could actually just move the pictures around. Like they could make it flush when they hang it. So you don't really have to go crazy. You can just really kind of figure out, you know, the rough guide like this. You know, now I'm just adding more space around all the images for them. Like this kind of thing. And then you just decide how you want it. So where's the dad's parents? Here's the dad's parents. And you see these pink lines kind of tell you whether it's all lined up, which is nice. But I'm not a big fan of all that space between the photos, so I probably really would just like crop this picture of the bride and groom just a little bit, make it like a 28-inch tall so that it's better. And then that's it. So really, you just kind of, let's see, now I want dad, move him. I'm just gonna like finish this so you can really see. And that way I don't have to. I can send it to the parent, send it to them to approve. Oops, wrong one. The other thing you can do is you can right click right here and then find the layer that you're doing. That's faster for me anyway. So it gives you a really good idea of what that wall will look like and what if these sizes are appropriate. And then now I'll have the client, I'll send this to them as a JPEG with those sizes, and they can just cut out pieces of paper, cut out cardboard, whatever they have that's like trash laying around, then cut them out to these sizes that I'm recommending and tape it on the wall and see if I'm correct. So what I do is I just use a text tool. So I just come up here and I just say that this is a 20 by 30 right there. 20 by 30. And I'll probably, I mean, like I said, I don't really like all of this space around, so I'm going to tighten all this up and make it really probably a 20 by 28. But just to show you. And then now I'm going to do, these are 8 by 10s, which they already have. And the nice thing is they already have them, so they can actually put them on the wall and see if I've nailed it. And then these here are 8 by 8s. 8 by 8s. Like that, so that way they know what size everything is. And then with this 8 by 8, I'm actually going to duplicate it and hold down the shift key, switch to my move tool, and that way I don't need to type it all in again. I'm just going to do that again. There you go. That way they know, and I'm just reiterating everything I'm doing. 8 by 8. And here's this 8 by 10. I can do the same thing with that one. Duplicate the layer. As a copy, hold down the shift key so it stays in line. It's not really vital, but you know, it's a little easier. So that way I've laid out exactly what size I think everything's going to be. And like I said, I'd probably change this one to 28, but it just depends on you, and they can add more space in there. I mean, it actually looks pretty nice with all that space as long as I, you know, as long as I hang it evenly, it'll be good. Okay, so let's get a little bit more complicated with this, okay? The other thing about this project is they actually have this group family formal that they want also, which is a little bit more complicated because it just, in my opinion, it just doesn't go. Like, this is their family, like their immediate family, and then the grandparents. So it's fine. The problem I have with this photo is that this is just the bride's mom's parents' family. So I've been very good about getting them to look at this grid as more of like a genealogical family tree. You've got the bride and groom, the bride's parents, the bride and her brother, and the bride's grandparents. So it's the bride's family tree. That makes sense to me, and that's kind of how I sold this, was, hey, let's make like a visual family tree. So the hard part about this is that they're all very, very close with this mom's parents. It's an Italian family, so they're all really close with all these people. I'm not in love with the quality of this photo because we were waiting on some people to show up, and the light really tanked really quickly on me. But you know, you got to pick your battles. I'm not going to tell them not to buy something from me, right? So there's that. I want to make it easy for them to buy something. So let's go through the math of how to figure out what size this family photo needs to be. We have a 20-inch wide image here, okay? So 20 inches plus we have these two 8-inch wide prints, so that's 16. Plus, let's just say that we have 2 inches between each photo, so that's plus 4 inches. So the print, if we're going to add that family photo, the print across needs to be a 40-inch print. Okay, so I know, because I've already looked it up, that there's a 40 by 20 that's available in metal. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to show you real quick. I'm just going to crop this. So all we need to do is crop this image to a 40 by 20 so that we can see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to change my crop tool up here to a 40-inch by 20-inch. With a 72 DPI, because again, this is just being emailed. It's not the final product. So here is a 40 by 20. Generally speaking, you know, that's like how I would crop it. I want a little bit of the tree, a little bit of the grass, not too much of each. Make sure everybody's kind of centered. There's the same amount of space here. Again, I'll fix that when I actually order the picture. So that's a 40 by 20. Okay, so now you can see here's what a 40 by 20 would look like. So it looks like my math is a little off, but I didn't measure these to make sure this was 2 inches, so I'm sure it's probably fine. So what's interesting to me now that I've laid it all out is actually this image is taking up a lot more of the wall than I would like. So the two things could be going on there. One is maybe I just don't have the right proportion of this wall to these photos. That's possible because I don't actually have the measurement of this wall. The other thing is they actually, and here's a sales tip, right? So they actually have another wall that they have a piece of like artwork on they want to replace. So this would actually be better for this other wall in their house. So that's where, as a salesperson, I like to take control of the situation and recommend my professional opinion. My professional opinion is that this photo doesn't go here with this grouping, and it should go on this other wall. Let me just show you what that other wall looks like. I don't have a great picture of it, but it's just in their foyer. So it's just in their foyer, and she had emailed me this like ages ago. This is it. So she's got this frame here already. It's kind of a long hallway. Front door is over here. And so this photo would be amazing right here because you can walk right up to it and see their faces. That's a selling feature. When you want to go bigger and you have a photo like this where everybody's full length and there's a lot going on and there's a lot of faces, you want to hang it somewhere where you can actually walk straight up to the picture and look at the picture. If you hang it above a fireplace or something, you will never be able to see these people's faces. They'd be too small, especially from a 10-foot viewing distance. So when you're doing in-person sales, that's really helpful for you to explain to your clients how that works, okay? So I'm gonna just pretend that maybe my measurements are off, and I'll take all of these other photos that I already have and make them a little smaller. I don't really think that I'm that off on how big this wall is, but you know, that's possible. So I'm just gonna make those a little smaller so that everything fits, because I want my client to be able to see it. And I'm actually gonna make the same width of this, because again, you can fix it later when they actually order the picture. So again, it's still too tall, but you see how it doesn't really go and it really throws off the vibe of the whole wall. So I'm just really going to recommend to them that they put this on that other, in their foyer instead. So what you can do when you're ready to sell these to them, I'm just going to step backwards of my transformations because I feel pretty good about my sizing. Let me show you how I actually send it. Okay, so I'm going to put group photo on that layer. Then I'm going to hide that layer for now. So this is what I do. So I've got this beautiful, right? It's their house, it's their furniture, it's their wall. I'm pretty confident with my sizing of their wall. I'm pretty sure it's like a 5-foot wall. I've cropped these to the right dimensions, so they definitely are proportioned to each other at least. And so what I'm going to do here, this is super easy. You can get rid of these guides. The fastest way to send this to them, obviously you can just save it as a web file and email it to them. But I do everything quick and dirty, so all I'm going to do is a screenshot. So if you do on a Mac, Shift Command 4, then it lets you just do a screenshot of what you're looking at. And then that's it. So I can just send that to them. And now, and this is the reason I do it this way, it's a little faster than saving it as a web file, naming it, finding the folder you want to save it to. Now what I can do is I can move this group photo, oops. Group photo, let me select that. I can move the group photo here, and then let me go ahead and make all these like a little, I just want to give them more space. Just so she sees how it all goes together. And I could always make this more of a panoramic, which is probably what I'll do. And I could do a screenshot, just so she can see. Sometimes they just need to see what it's going to look like so that you can talk them through what you think, right? And that was a 40 by 20 is what we did. So maybe we do like a 40 by 10. Let me see what that would look like. That might look a little better. So let's go back. Let's step backwards. And so it really doesn't take that long. This is taking me a lot longer because I'm explaining everything while I'm doing it. But if you were doing this with your client, it really wouldn't be that bad. Okay, so let's do a 40 by 10, which would be a super panoramic, okay? But I like that. I think that might be better. Oops, dang it. But I think this is better because it's a super panoramic. It won't take up as much space on the wall. It's really exactly where you got everybody you need, right? Yeah, I like that a lot better. Get rid of all the trees and stuff. And I did it as a black and white for the same reason, because we had a hot pink dress on the end, we had a hot pink dress in the middle, somebody was wearing blue, like it just doesn't match the rest of the wedding, so I'm trying to talk them into do this in a black and white. Okay, so let's move that. Yeah, look at that, way better, right? Getting rid of all that background. So much better, and now we can probably fit it on a wall over here. Okay, see how that goes? Pretty awesome. So again, I just need to double check, maybe I have my measurements wrong of like what their wall is versus the size of these pictures, but at least I know the pictures are proportional to each other, correct? Okay, so that one I'm gonna do another text thing so I remember what I did. So it's a 40 by 10. And that way I can price it for them and they can visualize it and they can cut out the paper and stuff. And that's it. So now I'll do another screenshot of their wall. And we're good to go. The only thing we forgot is one thing. You always want to kind of have an upsell. So another thought is they're really, really close to their family dog, and the family dog was at the wedding. So I actually have a photo of the cute little pup. There's their beautiful little puppy. So I'm just going to try to sell them yet another picture. I mean, they love Lily. Lily's actually on the older side a little bit, so you might as well. So, I mean, probably a 16 by 20 would be good, but maybe I'll be, you know, I'll be frugal for them and do an 11 by 14. So let's do an 11 by 14, see how Lily looks. So 11 by 14 will be very affordable for them. It'd be easy upsell. Really, a 16 by 20 will be a better for their wall, but I'll see how it looks. You could always start with a higher thing and then offer something, so have two versions. So Lily doesn't really look good with this family photos, but look over here, there's like nothing on this wall over here. So and there's like something already there. So 11 by 14 or 16 by 20, something kind of small, would fit on this other wall over here really well. You don't have to worry about the angle because your client will understand what you're talking about as soon as they see it. So I'm just going to do yet another screenshot of that to show them what that one's going to look like. And then I'm going to take off that group again because I really don't want the group over here. I really don't want that group to be there. So let me take off that. Oops, and the 40 by 10. Okay. And let me make all these centered like that. So this is my preferred version. So the nice thing about doing this is if you're doing screenshots instead of saving everything, then what's cool about that is you can kind of just show them, okay, so here's my preferred version, and then here's alternate versions. That way they don't have to come back to you with like 4,000 questions and, oh, can I see this? Can I see that? Well, you've already done all this work. And at this point, I would save this file as a PSD so that I can change it up later. And if I figure out what size this wall is, maybe I'm wrong in my sizing. But at that point, that's where I'm just going to have them do cardboard and tell me. Because maybe we just make everything just a hair bigger. Or if they want to save money, you know, like you can have them do the cardboard thing like this on their wall, which is so easy for them to do. And it really helps them visualize what it will take, how much space it will take up, which helps when they're looking at their invoice. So so let's talk about invoicing, right? So now that I've kind of mocked up this design, I know I did this work because I know this client is going to buy this. If this is a little bit more work than I would do, especially being on vacation, than you would do if you're not sure of a sale. But for me, I'm pretty certain they're gonna buy this. I mean, they've already bought a lot of other things from me. As long as I can get it in a decent price range for them, it'll be fine. So this is gonna be like a 20 by 28 or 20 by 30. So I'll price this collage as one invoice, and I'll give them sort of a bundled deal because once I crop all these to 8 by 8, and they already have these 8 by 10s actually, so it's gonna be very affordable to do this group. And then I'll give them a price for Lily as a separate line item, and I will actually price it out as 16 by 20 as my recommended size. But if that's too expensive, here's the price for an 11 by 14. And if you actually make them pretty close in price, 11 by 14 and 16 by 20, because the work and the shipping and all that is the same, they'll probably just spring for the bigger size, which might be an extra 50 bucks or something. So it's really not that bad. You can really play with your sales techniques and your pricing that way. And then I'll give them yet another option for this 40 by 20. I'll price this one as a separate invoice so that the other nice thing about doing that is they could choose to buy this grid first. Then in 2 weeks when they get paid again, they could buy Lily. And then in 2 weeks when they get paid again, they could add this family picture. And then they can just wait and hang it all together. So I'm a big fan of breaking up big projects into multiple invoices because you will get more sales that way. And then, like I said, just take control of what you think is best. And the more you do this, the easier it gets. So again, I'm going to really show them. Part of the reason I'm showing them where it looks silly is that way that maybe I can talk them out of putting this big panoramic in this grid. I just find so many faces, it really distracts from everything. So I'd really love it to look like this. I'm going to start with that with my email. And then I'm going to show them what this panoramic looks like on that other wall that they have that piece of artwork. I find that that's a more appropriate place for it. And I'll give them pricing for both because you can actually do a little bit bigger print if it's on the other wall. With this one, I want it to be flush with these, so you're limited by that. So anyway, long story long, this is my process for editing a little collage, like rough and dirty, in Photoshop so that my clients can kind of see my thought process on what photos I would choose to make a little collage for them in their house. And then I'll color correct and do everything once they've approved the design and we know what photos we're using. Sometimes they just want to see different versions for the same spot, like, oh, what about this other photo? You can do the same thing. You can bring in those photos, just hide the layer, do a screenshot. That way they can see all the variations. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty easy. Learn how to do a screenshot and find out where they're saved on your computer so you can always go back to that folder. That is vital. Mine just goes straight into a screenshots folder on my Dropbox, which is so easy. So I always know where those screenshots are saved. And then I just email them to the client and they're already saved at a small size. So there's no way the client can like take a photo and print it or anything. They have to go through me. So that's my little tutorial on how to do a collage on the road for virtual clients. You could also, I find it easier to just do it this way and maybe go through email because of all the cropping and, you know, little Photoshop tips and tricks that you run into like I did today. So you can just share it with them that way. Otherwise, you could use FaceTime and you could have them cut out cardboard for their wall of these sizes and hold it up so you can see it. You know, I do a lot of that too. But this is easy enough. Like I said, I sold the fireplace one when I was in Scotland on vacation. So it took me 5 minutes out of my evening and it was definitely worth it because it was a $2,000 sale. So totally worth my 5 minutes or whatever it takes to make that mock-up. Anyway, hope you learned something out of this. Sign up for my newsletter where you can find out about more workshops that are in depth where I can help you. I can mentor you to help you like figure this kind of stuff out for your own business and your own clients. Every business is a little different. Everybody's, clients are a little bit different. I love helping you sell wall art. I love helping sell albums. So sign up for my newsletter, subscribe to my YouTube channel for like quick and easy tips, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.